tournament mode, you can start on your own. Good luck and have fun.
All right, we are back live again, continuing coverage of the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships here on Bowl TV. Trios qualifying round 2, squad 1. Our last qualifying squad of the trios event, and we will know who has advanced into the medal round this evening at the conclusion of this squad. If you base it on just the teams that have bowled already and completed 6 games, the United States at 41-44, the top score. Korea at 40-62, Australia at 4,000, and the other Korean team at 39-86. However, you've got Denmark on this squad, which was the leading team coming into today after the first round at 21-58, averaging almost 240 a game, and they will need to put up a pretty good tally here in these last 3 games to stay in the top 4. They won't have to put up a big number, but they'll have to be on the plus side on this squad. Basically looking at plus around plus 30 or so to get ahead of the Korean side that already has completed their bowling. I'll tell you the exact number here. Yeah, so assuming that no other teams on this squad make it into the top 4, Denmark would need 18-28 to make the medal round, which is a pretty doable score. It's only about 6-10 a game is what they would need. The next highest team on this squad is Finland at 1975. They averaged 20 pins a game less than Denmark did. And they would need a pretty big total. Let's say they want to get ahead of the Koreans, who are currently in 4th of the teams that have finished. They would need to shoot 2011. So that's a little bit of a tougher number, considering they only shot 1975 yesterday. Colombia would be next on this squad at 1955. That means they need 2031 to jump ahead of the Koreans. My guess is it's probably going to come up to Denmark as the only team that makes a run at the top 4, but it's hard to say. If Finland or Colombia or even Kuwait, who's a little bit further back there, only 4 pins back, or Mexico, can start putting together some 700 series or 700 games in this series, then they could get in the mix pretty quick. But it's going to take a pretty big number to make it into the medal round here this evening. And by the way, the medal round coming up in a little bit more than 3 hours from now, 3 hours 10 minutes from now. So 4:15 Central European Time and 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time in the United States. And if you haven't seen the video that everybody is talking about, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/USBC, and check out the video of Bill O'Neill's incredible strike that wasn't a strike. That's what we're calling it. So head over to our Facebook page, check that out. It's also posted on our YouTube channel. All right, we are in game number 1 of 3 of our final squad of trios qualifying here at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. We've got Romania, Iraq, Colombia, and Belgium on the featured pairs here in our opening game. Denmark is down on 17 and 18 if you're following along on the live scoring. And so far, they are doing pretty well this game. They don't need to shoot that huge of a number to get into the medal round, we don't believe. And right now they're looking to put up a good score here in game 1 and really take a lot of the pressure off down the stretch. Don't forget the medal round is coming up in about 2 hours and 45 minutes right here live on Bowl TV. 7:15 p.m. local time here in Abu Dhabi, and 4:15 p.m. Central European time, 10:15 a.m. Eastern time in the U.S. So we are creeping closer towards the medal round. Right now, our top 4, based on teams that have already completed their 6 games, is Team USA, Korea, Australia, and Korea. But we do expect at this point that Denmark will make it into the top 4, as they had such a big day yesterday that really should help propel them, and they are starting off with a pretty good score already today. So we'll keep an eye on things. We'll give you updates as we progress and move along here on this squad. Keep an eye on the live scoring, also on the results page. You can click the link under the video you're watching to find the results and online scoring, or go to worldbowling.org, click events, and then championships, and that'll take you to the page. We're wrapping up our first game here and just kind of looking across at some of the teams that we thought might have a chance to make a run at the top 4. And right now it's just Denmark on the squad that seems to have the best chance. Finland, who was next on the squad, they needed to have a really huge squad, and well, they're not even going to get to 400 or 600 this game. In fact, only one player going to be over 200. Maximum for them is 565. So that's going to pretty much knock them out of it. Colombia, who's on our featured pairs this game, pretty much going to get knocked out here because, well, quite frankly, they are not bowling a great game here. And they also needed a big day to get in. Looks like an average of 222.22 might end up being the cut number. It's 4,000. It's still possible that Finland could beat that score if they shot a couple of 730 games. So it's not out of the question. All right, so we're finishing up our first game. Matt and I just had a little talk. We're going to kind of regroup here after this game. And Denmark is going to be on 13 and 14. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to move our cameras over a little bit and show that pair for game 2. Denmark is the only team on this squad that is really going to be in contention for the most part, unless Finland or Colombia bowl huge last 2 games. But Denmark also has the chance to break the 6-game record for the trios, and we're kind of looking into those numbers to figure out what they might need. Obviously, a lot of interest in how Denmark is doing. 17 and 18 is the most popular pair on the live scoring, which is almost 1,000 people watching the live scoring. So we will give the people what they want, and we will show you Denmark for Game 2.
right, we're getting underway with game number 2 here on our final qualifying squad for trios here at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championship. All right, game 2 underway here for our final squad of qualifying in trios at the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships. Lucas Wiseman is working on some different camera angles here and getting a look at the scoreboard. We're going to watch Denmark here in game 2. They led yesterday's qualifying block. They shot 21.58, just a little bit short of the single game and series records here for trios. And they are on pace now to potentially break the 6-game record of 41.01 set by Team USA in 2013 at the Combined World Championships in the Las Vegas area, Sunset Station in Henderson, Nevada. So Denmark off to a strong start. They shot 6.89 in game 1. And really they had a pretty good lead on the field coming into today. And just needed to bowl plus. I believe plus 28 would have been enough to at least beat the team currently in 4th right now. But looking at the standings after the first 2 squads of today, Team USA's Mike Fagan, Sean Rash, and Marshall Kent leading the way at plus 544. Korea second at plus 462. Australia, anchored by Jason Belmonte, plus 400, and 4th was Korea at plus 386. Denmark entered the day again at plus 358 after a spectacular day in the lanes yesterday. That was on the 43-foot Tokyo pattern, and today the players are bowling on the 38-foot Atlanta. And again, after this squad completes its 3 games, the field will be cut to the top 4 teams based on the 2-day, 6-game total pinfall for the semifinals. Number 1 seed will take on number 4. 2 and 3 will battle, and the winners will meet for the gold medal match. And with the 2 different patterns, the higher seed in each match will have the opportunity to choose the lane condition. So Denmark bowling exceptionally well yesterday on the 43-foot pattern. Should they end up with the number 1 seed, they'll take on again number 4 and have the choice which pattern will be used in the semifinals. And then when we get to the gold medal match, the higher seed again will have the choice of which lane condition will be used. But right now, we've got the cameras turned, and we've got a good look at the leaders. And they are not letting up one bit. Shot 6.89 in game 1. They'll need just 12.54.
Just had a request for a shout out to Xavier Millet, who's watching the live streaming from Belgian folks. So there you go. There's your shout out to Xavier.
All right, Xavier, thanks for tuning in. Now Xavier can see if Denmark can hold on. Well on their way into the top 4 for the semifinals. But we're looking at the record books now. Again, 12.54. Over the next 2 games, we'll get them a piece of the record, 12.55, and it's all theirs. All right, well, even better news. Just took a look at the standings from this morning, and the plus 544 is 41-44. So that actually is the trios record that was set this morning by Team USA's Fagan, Rash, and Kent. So that is the new number, the new standard in the trios event. (41-44). Glad we double checked that before we sounded any more foolish than we already had just a moment ago. So Team USA shoots 748, 706, 652 this morning to get to plus 544, 41-44, and a new record. I don't even know if they know, but at this point, they're just actually hoping to hold on and grab a spot in the top 4. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's going to change the math a little bit here. So with the new math, Denmark will need 1297 to tie the new mark set by Team USA this morning. So yes, for Key Eagles in the chat room, yes, to clarify all of that, Team USA broke the record this morning, 41-44. Denmark now has a chance to break that record with 2 solid games here in games 2 and 3. Waiting on these standings to come up through the first game on this squad, and we'll get you the update. USA clubhouse leader plus 544, followed by Korea plus 462, Australia plus 400, and Korea plus 386 after 2 of 3 squads. All right, you're watching live coverage here from Khalifa International Bowling Center at the Zayed Sports City here in Abu Dhabi. This is Matt Canizaro, Lucas Wiseman here as well. And you're watching the exciting conclusion of trios qualifying, game 2 of 3. We've turned the cameras and the scoreboard so we can take a look at Denmark. They led after yesterday's first block. Got off to a strong start, now trying to chase down the trios record set by Team USA earlier today. Plus 544 is the number. They'll need 1297 to tie that here at the last 2 games. Denmark trying to get back on track here in game 2. Thomas Larson with a pair of opens through 3 frames. USA average 230.22 on the way to that leading score. Denmark averaged 239 yesterday, shot 689 in game 1. right, so Larson perfect on the left lane. Just needs to figure out the right lane, get his team back on track. He'll be about 100 over these last 2 games. We got the record and the top seed. But 4 terrific teams. In the cut right now. Of course, the 3 PBA stars, Team USA in the lead. Korea at 40-62. Led by Park Jong-woo, doubles gold medalist here at the 2014 World Men's Championships. Followed by Australia, led by Jason Belmonte. Getting into the top 4 is the #1 goal. And at that point, I don't know that there's any preference in who you'd like to bowl. Only benefit, of course, being the higher seed is getting to choose the lane condition that the match will take place on. So, Orgaard for Denmark with the 4-bagger. Leading the way here. Shot 245 in game 1 today. Still waiting on scores, not sure what's going on, but we'll have those for you as soon as they're available. If you'd like to check out the standings to this point, you can click on the link underneath your video window. There'll be a link to worldbowling.org. That'll take you to all of the standings from this week, as well as live scoring from across the center. So if you have a favorite team you'd like to watch, you can do that. This is a fantastic 40-lane facility. High ceilings and bright lights and a real championship feel to it. And coming up next, we'll have the trio semifinals followed by the gold medal match. So stay tuned for that. But right now we're just halfway through game 2 as we try to solidify who our top 4 will be. So Denmark perfect in the 5th frame. And 4 in a row as a team. Alright, so Orgaard setting the pace for Denmark here. Stepping up, working on a 4-bagger. Right now we did change the camera position to watch Denmark making a run at the trios record, and that's certainly going to help.
You're watching the 2014 World Bowling Men's Championships here on Bowl TV. Trios qualifying final squad. This is game 2 of 3. Once again, as Matt mentioned several times, we shifted the camera over, and that was a great strike there by Karsten Henson, who gives it the old Pete Weber treatment with the crotch chop. Switched it over to show 13 and 14, kind of stretched our cameras out as much as we can here, as Denmark is the only team pretty much on this squad with a great shot to make it in. We're looking at the standings, and Denmark leading this squad at 28-47. Second on the squad would be Iceland at 26-26, more than 200 pins behind. So there are some teams on this squad that do have an outside chance to still make it in and top the Australians. For example, Iceland would need 1374 for their last 2 games, which is an average of 687. And this game not really going at that pace.
Well, certainly a lot of possibilities on paper. The intensity, the adrenaline, you never know. We will do our best to have the calculations for you along the way. After this game, Denmark will move on out of camera range. So we'll make another adjustment, most likely, as we prepare for the exciting conclusion. All right, Frederick piling on the strikes here. That's 6 in a row, leading his team here in game 2. They just need 12.97 to tie the record. $12.98, it's all theirs, as well as the top seed. And choice of lane condition the rest of the way here in the trios. There's Hansen up on 14, working on a double, throwing the blue hammer, makes it 3 in a row. Again, there's a couple of other teams that mathematically do have a chance of sneaking into the number. Should Denmark maintain its pace, that will knock Korea out and move Australia to the 4th spot at plus 400, so that would be the new number.
Well, since we aim to please, I've adjusted the cameras a little bit here again, and we can see Iceland now as well. We had some folks requesting Iceland. So here we go. Iceland and España now on featured pairs as well. I was able to figure out a way to adjust the camera here and get the scoreboard cameras over. And that's going to be, it's not perfect, but it's about as good as we can get to see both pairs. Since Iceland's in second place on this squad, I figured might as well try to go the above and beyond and find a way to show them as well. So for you Iceland fans, be happy now.
Mr. Wiseman's a crowd pleaser.
I try. We try to make everybody happy. If you're spending the time to tune into Bowl TV, we want to try to make you as happy as possible. So. Once again, Denmark with the best chance to make it into the medal round on these pairs. They are on lane 13 this game. If you're looking at the scoreboards at the top of your screen, left to right, it's 11, 12, 13, 14 scoreboards. Iceland needs a big game. They can strike out for 238, 205, 228. And when you need to average 687, that's going to be a little bit short of that. So they're going to need to strike out and have a really huge game, the final game. Norway still has a chance to make it in as well. If they can bowl a couple of pretty big games. They are on lane 9 if you want to follow them on the live scoring.
Norgard continuing to roll here in game 2. That's 7 in a row.
Yeah, they're bowling pretty awesome here in the trios event.
Got off to a little bit of a slow start at the start of this game and turned things around here. Some big numbers and staying very composed. Just a little bit on the line here. Again, the trio's record a possibility, and with the record would come the important #1 seed and lane choice, lane condition choice.
Yep.
For the duration. Although I don't know if that would matter much to them, the way they bowled on both patterns. It might be choosing a pattern that their opponent didn't bowl as well on. So you're having a pretty good time on the 43-foot Tokyo yesterday and now the 38-foot Atlanta today. Norway definitely giving it a run on lane 9. Stepping up into 10th. They can shoot 258, 249, and 249. I'm sure just Jason Belmonte's around here pacing up and down somewhere. Park Jong-woo maybe a little bit nervous too, looking at some of these numbers.
I'm going to guess that the U.S. and Korea are pretty safe. It would take 3 teams to go around Korea to knock them out. I'm not sure 3 teams are going to get there on this squad. Denmark obviously is going to go around them, so then it would take 2 more teams. But Norway has got a pretty good game going here. Norway can go 258, 249, 249. So that would be pretty huge and put them right back in the mix. Mad Sambaekin just left a 2-pin, though. He pulled it. Lucky he didn't leave a split, actually. Iceland desperately needs to strike out here in this game. They've got to get a lot of strikes on the board if they want to have any hope to make it in the top 4. And then they've got to have a really big last game. At this point, they're probably looking at needing 720, 730 the last game. That's if they strike out here to close out this game.
Well, the crowd definitely starting to grow. Getting down to the exciting crunch time.
We do plan to have Chris Barnes from Team USA on the live stream as a guest commentator for the medal round this evening, so have that to look forward to.
There's a suitable replacement, I suppose.
About an hour and 45 minutes from now is when we'll get started with the medal round.
Denmark up in the 9th frame now. Again, 1297 to tie the number, 1298. They are leading the way. And that look for Frederick. Pretty spectacular, 245 in game 1. And has a shot at 290 here in game 2. Mike Fagan for Team USA shot 798 this morning to lead the way for his team. So Norway slowed down a little bit here in the 10th frame, 236 and 227.
Wrapping up our second game. Just about done here. Denmark putting up another big score. Norway 236-227. They kind of cooled off in the 10th frame with some spares. And now Tori Torgerson just left a big split. 3-4, 6-7-10 split in the 10th frame for Tori Torgerson. And that's going to put Norway in the 670s, it looks like. Tori got 1 on the split, and they shoot 669. That makes it really challenging for Norway to make it in. In order for Norway to get ahead of Australia, they would need to shoot 798 the last game for Norway. So that looks tough. Not impossible, but tough. Still watching Frederick Orgaard continue to strike here. He can get to 290 this game, and they look like they're gonna break that record, Matt.
He is throwing the ball great here in game 2, and there's none that were ever a doubt. So 245 start, still has 290 out there.
What do they need for their last 2 games to break the record? Do we know? 1297 to tie. Another strike. It's been a dream trios for Denmark here. Iceland pretty much out of the running now at this point. So, they gave it a good run, but they are not going to advance into the medal round, it doesn't appear. There's one more game to go, but it's going to be around 560 this game or so. One more game to go. Medal round coming up in about an hour and a half as Frederick Orgaard sends the bullet across the lane for 290. And pretty impressive game. I'm glad we switched the camera over, Matt, huh? It worked out pretty good.
They certainly are putting on a show. And there's nowhere to walk behind them right now.
That's right. And they can still go 7:30 this game. Yeah, 7:30 max score for Denmark, 130 over. That's pretty solid. If they can get there. Karsten Hansen can be stepping up here for his 10th frame. He can max out at 238. They're already at 6:30 without another ball thrown here. Karsten Hansen missed the spare, 206 for him. We're still going to be in the upper 600s this game. Max at 698 if Thomas Larsen strikes out. Still have one game left here in the qualifying portion of the trios, and then we head into the medal round this evening. Hope that you'll stick around and join us, so Thomas Larsen will take another shot at that. Iceland finished at 571. Split. Larsen leaves the big four, giving away a lot of pins here at the end of this game.
Well, they have a little bit of work to do in Game 3. Again, that number one spot pretty significant in getting to choose the lane condition for the semifinals, and of course, should they win for the final.
He gets 2, so they shoot 664, and Matt will do the math real quick to see what they will need the last game to pass the United States and break the record that the U.S. set this morning. Looks like 633 to tie the record and top spot. So 634 is the goal. And we will reset our cameras for game number 3. Be back in just a minute here, live on Bull TV. right, should be all set the best we can here for this last game. You can see Denmark on the far left side of your screen. That's their scoreboard. Lane 7. Lane 8 is Turkey. Lane 9 looks like it is Belarus. And lane 10 is Macau. Well, we may need to adjust that again here. Looks like we have lane 8 twice on our scoreboards. There we go. Should be all set now. 7, 8, 9, 10 across the top, and also on the lanes. You can see Frederick Orgaard plus 135 after 2 games, after shooting 290 last game. Stepping up and bowling, and that's a double to start for Frederick. Denmark still averaging 234, and they just need 634 this game to beat the record and earn the top seed. We did move the camera back over to the left, showing 7, 8, 9, 10 right now, because Denmark is pretty much the only team on this squad with a chance to make it into the medal round, and I'd say that they probably are going to make the medal round, unless something crazy happens this game, but it doesn't seem like it's anything we can really expect. The next closest team would be Puerto Rico at 32-23, and they would need an awfully big score in the last game to get there. So they would need to get around Australia, who's sitting at 4,000. And that means that Puerto Rico would need 778 the last game. So that seems pretty tough. But we'll keep an eye on them just in case. In case Puerto Rico starts striking, we will keep an eye. They are down on lane 28 this game. Medal round is coming up this evening. Less than an hour and a half from now is when we will get started. Sure looks like at this point, like But you already kind of know that the United States and Korea are going to be in 100% for sure. Denmark looks like they will definitely be in. And Australia looks very likely, but not 100% decided just yet. I'd say it. That's why I said, Matt's looking at me with the stink eye, but I said very, very likely. Puerto Rico, like we said, needs 778 the last game. They're the closest. And 778, I don't think we've seen anybody bowl 778.
That is the record.
Yeah, so there you go.
The highest 3-game set in Trios history, unofficially.
The highest one, the highest 778 would be the highest game.
One
game.
Yes, 3 players, 1 game, Trios. Yes.
That would be awfully impressive if anybody shot that big of a number to get in, because it has never been done in the history of the tournament. Well, I guess if the record is 778, then
It's been done once.
Then it has happened once. But we are in our final game here. Denmark going for the trios record and the top seed. They are the ones in the red jerseys with the white lettering on the back, and Frederick Orgaard with another strike. 3 in a row to start, and he could be on his way to an 800 series if he keeps this up. Needs 265 this game to bowl 800.
Disappointed it took so long for it to click on us on the Team USA's record. We had him at plus 544. We were counting plus minus all day. And total pins.
Well, I believe that the 3-game individual record is 826, if I'm not mistaken. Matt's going to look that up real quick. But if Frederick Orgaard strikes out, he would shoot 835. So, yeah, 826. Kimmo Lentonen of Finland back in 2003. That's the 3-game individual record, and Frederick could top that if he strikes out. He could shoot 835.
Mike Fagan had a spectacular trios event, shot 15-15. Came up just short of the 6-game record of 15-26.
Pretty impressive day for Mike Fagan today. He is right there in the mix for an all-events medal now. Our video of Bill O'Neill's incredible bowling strike that wasn't really a strike has over 15,000 views now, according to our real-time statistics on YouTube. And if you haven't seen that, you really must go check it out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/USBC. Over 1,200 shares on that video already. And check it out. It's Bill O'Neill's strike that wasn't really a strike. And you'll understand what I'm talking about if you go check it out. Basically, he hit the head pin, looked like it was a strike, all the pins went down, and then a pin did a cartwheel and stood back up. And did not count as a strike. Had to shoot the spare. So it's been a pretty eventful day here in Abu Dhabi. We've had records broken. We've had crazy strikes. But as of right now, on target to be Denmark, USA, Korea, Australia in the finals tonight. It's assuming that Denmark shoots 634 this game to go in first place.
Well, then you get down to a whole lot of strategy on the coach's part when it gets down to the semifinals on picking the lane condition. Higher seeds get the choice. You're going to see which pattern did you bowl better on, which pattern did your opponent bowl worse on. Did they have a good look on the fresh, or did they make it run after some traffic?
I'm sure that the coaches are going to take a look at that. They don't get very much time to decide what pattern they want, though. They might get 15 minutes after the end of the squad to decide, if that, because they've got to run the lanes, and we get started right away. We've got local TV here covering the event, and they'll be ready to go at 7:15 with the start of the finals, and so will Bull TV.
Well, Lucas, if you're Denmark right now and you're making your move here, and you get the choice, you bowled plus 358 yesterday on the Tokyo, but you're just coming off of the 38-foot Atlanta, feeling pretty good and confident, had a good momentum going. What do you choose at that point?
I'm going to guess they're going to pick whatever they're most comfortable with, what they feel like. Maybe it's that the pattern they bowled on today, having just gotten done on it, but it looks like they're probably going to bowl Australia, and Australia really not anything special on fresh on either day. 6:53 the first day and 6:41 today, so not really a drastic difference. It's not like the U.S. where yesterday they went 6:46 the first game, and then they went 7:48 today. So, you would think that the U.S. might pick today's pattern in their match against Korea, but you never know. I've learned to not try to guess what Rod Ross is going to pick, because sometimes he does some things you might not expect. Korea was 6:20 on the long and 6:83 on the
So pretty good look on
medium.
the fresh today.
Yep. It's hard to say.
Well, and maybe something we get to ask the winning coach later on. What was the strategy involved? Still a long way to go, of course. 2 very intense matches coming up in the semifinals. Just a matter of who's going to be there. With the open frame for Orgard, the 800 series, now not a possibility. 799, the best he can do, but again, right now all about the team. Trying to secure that #1 seed. Got the gold medal. There's the goal. Record's secondary at this point. And so we need a pin respotted here for Hansen. 4-pin wanted to go, but didn't get there in time. So he will get a score correction, shoot at the 4-7. Again, they need 634 to secure the #1 spot. Puerto Rico, the next closest, needs 778. the fourth frame, not kind to Denmark. They'll regroup and get ready for frame number 4. Frame number 5 here on the left lane. And the 10-pin refuses to cooperate for Orgard. Puerto Rico down on 27-28, halfway through the finale. Still has 792 on paper. They need 778.
Well, the number that Denmark has to shoot isn't that high, but they better get going here if they want to get there. They need 634. And they're just kind of putzing along a little bit here, I might say.
Well, got off to a strong start and then tripped up a little bit in the fourth frame.
Yeah, Frederick got off to a good start with the front three, and then it's just not been a real high-scoring game thus far. Not like what they have been doing. And if they don't get to 634, that means they bowl Korea in the first match. That means the U.S. would bowl Australia, which would set up a very interesting match for the U.S. with Jason Belmonte's trios team, taking on Sean Rash, Mike Fagan, Marshall Kent. And we all know there's a little history between Sean Rash and Jason Belmonte.
Certainly. And looking at the numbers from this morning, you mentioned Australia struggled a little bit on the fresh.
I don't know if I'd say struggled, but not as high as
comparatively.
Yeah.
And Team USA did not on this 38-foot Atlanta pattern. With 4 frames to go, Puerto Rico still alive. And we saw the third game this morning too. Not as high as games 1 and game 2.
Yeah, with the exception of Australia, nobody's really put up a huge game in the last game that's in the mix. 729 for the Aussies the last game. 268 for Belmo. 252 for Sam.
But it's kind of set here. The stage is set. Puerto Rico has 1 miss left in 4 frames. Denmark seal its own fate here. Larson goes Brooklyn. And it still looks the same on the scoreboard, but he's minus 22 for the day, so struggling a little bit here on this medium pattern. All right, so Puerto Rico with a spare in the 7th frame, and they're done for trios. Cannot get to the number. So right now it's just a matter of who's going to be number 1 and who's going to be number 2. Denmark or Team USA.
Yeah, we'll have to see what kind of finish Denmark has here.
This definitely is the busiest we've seen the bowling center. And team competition coming up tomorrow. That's the big one. Denmark getting some momentum going here. That's 3 in a row as a team.
Yeah, that may be what they need here.
That Brooklyn sparked them.
Probably would feel a lot more comfortable if they put a couple of doubles on the board to put them a little closer to that 633 number they need. 634, I should say. Whoa. Alexander, that one got away from him a little bit there. There's a double. Frederick on the rebound now. Gets a double on the board for Denmark. Remember, they need 6:33 to tie the record, 6:34 to beat it. I'm not sure what the tiebreak would be if they were to shoot exactly 6:33. I'm going to guess a tie last game to break the tie, which the U.S. would have 6:52. Let's hope it doesn't come down to a tie because it makes it a little bit messy.
They've got a little bit of room here with 3 frames to go. Still at 7:28 max score. So a little few pins to play with.
Well, I've got them going at about a 6:10 pace at this point.
There's a couple of big doubles right there.
Yep.
Norgard and Hansen. Again, Larson struggled a little bit today. Minus 22 on the day.
When I say 6:10 pace, that assumes that the rest of the way they go strike spare. They don't throw any doubles, and that they don't get any opens. So as of now, they're on a pace to shoot 6:10, which is about 23 pins less than they need. Trips out the 4, comes on a spare though. Thomas Larson with a strike. It's our last game. Only have about 4 frames to go here. And the medal round starts in 1 hour. So regardless of what time zone you're in, pretty easy to figure out at this point. It is 1 hour away from the medal round. I think this 8th frame coming up for Denmark will go a long way to telling us whether they're going to get to that record score or not. If they get a couple of strikes here in this frame, or 3 strikes in this frame, it's going to look pretty good. Find out.
A terrific shot there, but the 10-pin will not go. I think it's going to end up being pretty close, Matt, whether they get to the record or not. We'll see if Karsten Hansen can strike here. It'd help a lot. He's working on a double. They need 2 more doubles and to stay clean, pretty much, is what they need to get there.
Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot of pressure.
But not the way they've been bowling. 633 certainly does not seem like a lot.
Oh, he almost ate 10 on that shot and gets the strike. That's a big one. By the way, the semifinals tonight, they're going to be simultaneous. They're going to happen at the same time, so we're going to do our best to show both of them to you. Maybe to flip back and forth between the matches, but we'll just have to see how it goes here. That's a big double for Thomas Larson. Well, I said they needed a couple of more doubles, and they just got them right there, so. Staying clean probably isn't enough because of the count factor, but they're getting pretty close. Two frames to go.
USA looking on. Mike Fagan, Marshall Kent, and Sean Rash. They know they're going to bowl. Now they're just waiting to see who it's going to be. Team USA, Denmark, Korea, and Australia will be the four. Team USA and Denmark both will have lane choice. Lane condition choice.
Make sure you tell your friends on Facebook and Twitter to tune in for the Trios medal round this evening. It'll be coming up in about 50 minutes or so. Hope that you will join us for that. Semifinals and the final tonight here in the Trios event to wrap up the third event of these championships. Team event starts tomorrow. Big shot coming up here for Karsten Hansen. Working on 3 in a row. As Denmark edges closer to the top seed in the record. There's another strike.
Here's Larson looking for 3 in a row, 5 in a row as a team.
Yeah, they're in pretty good shape now. It's not a done deal yet, but they're in pretty good shape. See if we can figure out what they will have if they stay clean. They just stay clean. They're at 635, and that's assuming 9 spares with strikes in the fill. So it could be pretty close if they if they let it be. We'll see.
Max score still 686.
At this point, really, just want to avoid any sort of splits in the 10th frame here. They did kind of sputter to the finish last time. Had a couple of opens in the 10th frame that hurt them a bit. And lowered their scoring potential. So let's see what Frederick does here. 10 pin. Covers it up. Well, keeping it clean for the first bowler. Going to be 213 for Frederick. Have a pretty star-studded medal round coming up tonight, looks like. Some PBA stars, Asian stars, European stars. So we got all three zones will be represented in the finals tonight. Pretty exciting. Should be pretty entertaining, and hopefully that'll lead to some big numbers on the viewer count, because somebody from every country, from every zone, should draw in bowlers from around the world to watch the live streaming. Doing pretty good right now, almost 900 viewers, so definitely tune back in about 50 minutes. We think that's when it's going to start, but we'll give you the countdown clock. You'll be able to watch 7 on the fill. Doesn't help them really in the count department there. That might mean that they need a double at some point.
663, still the max score. So certainly Hansen with the best look here in game 3.
Yeah, but if Hansen goes 9 spare strike here, he shoots 225, and that would put their first 2 bowlers at plus 35, which would force Larson to double, I think, in the 10th. So they need a double at some point, and to stay clean. If Karsten Hansen strikes on this shot, then it's looking pretty solid. Not 100% there yet, but pretty close. So this is a big shot coming up for Denmark. You can see him on the left side of your screen, getting ready to bowl, standing right up against that ball return. Working on 4 in a row. 10 pin. It's going to be close. I told you they were pacing at about 610, and they got a couple of doubles to get them closer to the 630 number, but it's...
Well, that 7 count's going to
the 7 count
huge right now.
7 count hurts in the count department, because that
forces
means that
Larson to have to double.
Yeah, they're going to have to get a double out of Larson. Otherwise, if Karsten Hansen spares here, strikes, and Larson goes strike spare, let's say, they are at 632, which is 1 pin short of what they need.
So Team USA's got the calculators out. Probably a lot of other folks too. But of course, right now the spare is crucial first.
Yeah, got to make this. Throwing the old blue hammer at it, looks like. Covers it up. That's going to be their lowest game of the trios event, regardless of how it finishes here.
Thomas Larson, certainly a familiar name. And he's in the anchor position, I'm sure, for a reason.
Yeah, he's a great bowler. I know he's bowled in a lot of European Tour events. I think he's won a few. So he knows what he's doing out there. It's going to come down to the final bowler, though. to determine our top seed. Fill ball here for Karsten Hansen. Gets the strike. So 6:42 the max now for Denmark. Thomas Larson needs the double in the 10th. Puerto Rico falls 39 pins short. And that ball is spinning down the lane. Is it going to make it all the way down? Not so sure, as Alexander had a problem with his grip earlier, and hopefully he didn't injure himself on that shot.
All right. Well, hopefully Thomas Larson can remain focused.
Needs a double to take the top seed. Otherwise, the United States will be number 1, and they will maintain the trio's record. Nope. Dead left off his hand. Left the 4-7. And they are going to be the number 2 seed, and that's going to set up a U.S. versus Australia match in the semifinal. And Denmark versus Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, Puerto Rico. Denmark versus Korea. Had Puerto Rico on my mind. They had a good finish. Denmark versus Korea. The U.S. versus Australia in the semifinals coming up. And it should be pretty fantastic. We've had some great medal rounds already here this week. Team USA is going to hold on to the record that they earned earlier today. So they will bowl Australia. The Team USA, the big thing for them now is they get pattern choice in the semifinal, and they would also have it in the final if they advance that far. And Denmark is going to come up 3 pins short if Thomas Larson strikes on this last ball.
Tell you what, I did not see this coming the way they were rolling the last 2 days. Cruising along and just shy. Mike Fagan leading the way for Team USA, shooting 798 today, 15-15 in trios. Larson buries that one for 195 and 630.
So 3 pins shy of first place. Your medal round is going to be USA versus Australia, 1 versus 4, and 2 versus 3, Denmark versus Korea, coming up in about 45 minutes. We're going to go off air here and get everything set up for the medal round, but please be sure to join us back here again in about 45 minutes. We will have live coverage of the trios medal round coming up. The U.S., Denmark, Korea, and Australia advancing into the medal round here at the World Championships. We'll be back with you in about 45 minutes. You can catch the countdown at bowl.com/bowltv. For Matt Cannizzaro, I'm Lucas Wiseman. We'll see you back in a little bit.